You gotta take your best shot. The time is now. So what are you waiting for? It's time to attack the impossible. So what will you do with the moments that you have left?
Great American Rugby. Rugby is life and life is great. I'm excited to share an opportunity to partner with Great American Rugby and help grow rugby in the U.S. Sponsoring Great American Rugby gives your brand exposure to a passionate rugby community, whether through logo placements, social media promotions, product giveaways, or brand collaborations. We can find the right fit for you. Here at Great American Rugby, we know that all businesses are different, so we're open to negotiating sponsorship budgets or alternative compensation that works for both of us. If you're interested, please fill out the sponsorship interest form. It'll only take a few minutes, and I'll personally reach out to discuss the next steps. Let's build something that benefits your brand while growing rugby. Thank you for your support. Let's grow rugby together. Rugby is life and life is great. Be great.
How y'all doing? My name is RC. I'm the CEO of a clothing line by the name of Wag Dodge. Wag Dodge stands for We're All Gonna Die One Day. So live life to the fullest. It's an anti-depression brand I started because in my earlier teenage years, I was gonna kill myself. So I wanted to start a group of people I wish existed when I needed them. So Wag Dodge has a lot of different components. Do a lot of different things. Everything from clothing, obviously that was our first one, gaming, community service. We participate in a lot of events, and we just go out and every day, honestly, we just meet as many people as we can and try to change their viewpoint on life from negative to positive. One of the most common misconceptions that I always receive about the brand lies directly within the name. What I want you to understand was that at that point in time when I originally created this slogan, I was going through such a crazy mental episode that I really came to terms with the fact that we're all gonna die. And what I wanted people to receive from this message was that, yeah, we're all gonna die one day, but live life to the fullest, because as far as we know in this life and existence, we only have one turn, one try to get this right. So live it and live it to the fullest.
You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I want to grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. Beneath the pale moonlight, where we're dancing slow, I hear whispers of love. Your eyes, they sparkle like stars in the sky. In this moment with you, time just seems to pass by. In the quiet of the night, in a world so still, our hearts beat as one. In this love we fulfill. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. With every beat of my heart, I'm drawing closer to you. And through the seasons of time, our love will stand true. So trust me, don't fear me. never ending, it's only just beginning. And I can't wait to start with you. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you to. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you to. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl. You know you want me, baby. You know I want you to. Cause I'm your honey, man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl, and I will rule your world. I wanna grow together. Let's let our love unfurl.
All right.
In life, there's these moments. And in those moments, you got to give it all you got. You got to take your best shot. The time is now. So what are you waiting for?
What are you waiting
It's
on?
time to attack the impossible.
Oh, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of That's All I'm Saying. I am your host, your boy, your man's Max Dollars, baby, your number one hoop hero. And this is another episode of That's All I'm Saying. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. I want to give a shout out to Stillwear Athletic Brand, the Great American Rugby, Wag Dog, and also Abasi Steel, the number one honey man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We got a special episode today. A lot of things we're gonna talk about and a lot of topics. Hey Justin, we got is this gonna change? Did I mess it up? It's good? Okay, cool. Sounds good. All right. So first things first, ladies and gentlemen, I want to address one of the posts that I put up just the other day. And it was basically saying we can't blame these NBA players nowadays for jumping ship from a losing team and going to a better team. Why? Because everybody wants to win. That's the point, right? So the example that I gave was if you go to the park and you go with your 5 and you lose and another 5 loses one and they pick you up, should you go and play with them? The answer is yes, because the game is called hooping. We're here to play and we're here to win. It doesn't matter what team you played for before you lost. Once you lose, you go to the end of the line. If you're that good to get picked up by somebody else, you should play again. That's why when Kevin Durant went to another team like the Warriors after losing 3-1 or was up 3-1 and came back and they lost to him, it's not his fault that he went to a better team. They chose him. Why? Because he was the better player out of that group of players to play with. So they knew that his talent, his arsenal that he had was the right arsenal for their job, for their team, what they needed to get the job done. You can't blame that. Everybody in the comments talking about how they would stick with their team. No, you're stupid. Why? That's what they did in the 90s. That's why all of the old heads are miserable and they're upset about their career, because they never jumped ship to went to another team until the end of their career when their contracts is up. I know it's not their fault. That's how the NBA was structured back then. But I guarantee you, if they had the opportunity to go to another team after losing to Jordan every time, I guarantee you they would have teamed up to beat a super team and beat the Bulls. It's simple. You do it in pickup. You do it in grade school. You do it in high school. You do it in college. It's called transfer, right? You want to be on the best team possible so that all your talent shows. If you're on a losing team, yes, you're going to be scoring a lot. Yes, you're going to be exerting all your energy, but you're not going to be able to fulfill your talent's destiny because you're doing too much and you're stressed. You're trying to do too many things at one time. This is why Kevin Durant was so successful with the Warriors, because he didn't have to do everything. All he had to do was maximize his talent and win. That's why he got 2 Finals MVPs over Steph Curry, because technically he was better at that particular time. And you can't fault him for that. You can't fault him because everybody wants to win. That's the name of the game. And everybody talks about how Jordan is a winner. Jordan is this. Jordan is that. Jordan won. That's the only reason. If Jordan never won, we wouldn't be talking about him like this. And I understand that's contradictive. I get it. But all the players nowadays are trying to follow suit. You can only be great if you win. All the other greats did not win. Now they have an asterisk next to their name. Charles Barkley, asterisk. Karl Malone has an asterisk. John Stockton, asterisk. Dominique Wilkins, asterisk. Reggie Miller, asterisk. Patrick Ewing, asterisk next to the name. They're great. They're Hall of Famers, but they never won. Now just think about this, people. Think about this. If Patrick Ewing would have left and went to Indiana, or if Reggie Miller would have left and went to New York, think about how the dynamic would have changed, right? If Dominique Wilkins would have left Atlanta and went to Chicago, think about it. They just want to win. Everybody's talking about how, no, I'm going to re-up. I'm going to go back at him. I'm going to try. No. That's what you call insanity, people. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's why they're miserable. That's why they have a regret for their career. They wish they could leave. That's why all these greats are they're saying LeBron is the best, because he's able to go to different teams and win. Nobody else in history does this. The blueprint was you stay on one team, you build that franchise up, win or lose, and you try to get better as you go. You try to be a great at that one franchise. But let's say, for instance, the GM doesn't mess with you. Let's say, for instance, the fan base doesn't like you. Let's say, for instance, the GM doesn't build the team the necessary way around you for you to be successful. What do you do then? What do? You stay there and be miserable, or do you leave? That's why Kevin Durant left OKC. He understood that he was not going to win there. The talent was there, but the cohesion wasn't. That's why he left and went to a better team who had togetherness, hand-in-hand correlation. That's what you want in basketball. You want a seamless play. You want to be able to play with your eyes closed almost. You want to know where somebody's going to be at. You want to know that somebody has your back. You want to know that walking into this game, we're going to win. Confidence, no question, okay? No questions. And that's the reason why if your team loses and a better team asks you to come play, you go play with them. You go play. You become a legend. Everybody does it. I don't understand why people think just because you're in the NBA, you're not supposed to do that. It's basketball, people. It doesn't matter about the contracts. It doesn't matter about the social status. It doesn't matter about the fan base. It doesn't matter about none of that. At the end of the day, it's about winning. And if you can't win with the team that you're on, you move. LeBron did it. And you're trying to blame LeBron like he's the first person to do this. No, he's not. A great example of somebody who did this was Shaq. Didn't Shaq get to the NBA Finals with the Magic and Penny? And then they lose? And what did he do after that? He left and went to LA, built the franchise up and won. And you're mad at LeBron. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. And y'all complaining. Y'all just want to pick on LeBron like he's just the starter of everything. No, he's just great. Everybody in my DMs, everybody on my messages talking about LeBum, he sucks, he shouldn't have left, and all this. It's not true. It's not true, people. It's not true. Did he do as much as Jordan did? No. And I tell you why he didn't do as much as Jordan did. The NBA was weak back then. If the East was weak for LeBron, the East was weak for Jordan. The man went 6-0. That means there's a deficiency in the league. It doesn't mean that he's just that great. It's a deficiency. You know? They didn't allow GMs to trade and make better players, make better teams. So you let one team dominate for 10 years. Doesn't make no sense. And everybody talking about he retired. He retired. He did not retire, people. RIP to his father. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about strictly basketball here. Strictly basketball. The nigga quit twice, 3 times. Why? Because he wanted to. He quit. It's not a retirement. Now, there's speculations about things that was going on behind closed doors. I'm not here to talk about none of that. I'm not here to talk about none of the personal things. We're talking about basketball. The nigga quit 3 times. His team asked him to come back and play. He said, no, I want to play baseball. It ain't because the game was too easy for him, because you got to think about this. If you're that great, who's going to quit? Who quits at their peak? It makes no sense. There was something else going on, but we're not here to talk about that. The nigga quit. Simple as that. He quit and came back. And now everybody talking about he retired. That's not retirement. Retiring means you done got to a certain level in age in the company. You did as much as you're supposed to do, and you can't do no more. After you retire, you don't come back. You don't come back. It's simple. Who retires and comes back? Name one person who retired from GM and came back and worked in the factory. Name one person. Nobody. Nobody retires and comes back. So what are you talking about? Here we go. Let's see who we got calling. Hold on, caller. Hold on. Caller, you on the air? That's all I'm saying. Hold on, Joe. Hold on. Let me. Hey, Justin. You get the caller on the line? Give me 1 second, Joe. Joe, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, Joe with Joe knows. What's up, Joe? How you doing?
What up? Good. How you guys doing?
Doing well, bro. Doing well. Let me bring you in, man. So Joe Knows is our a weekly sports betting guru. Okay, a lot of things has been going on lately in these playoffs that if you bet it correctly, you could be a billionaire right now. Am I lying, Joe?
I mean, technically, if you get super lucky and bet it correctly, right? Like, yeah, that's true.
It's true. I mean, who would have thought that Indiana would take 2-0 lead on the Cavs, and who would have thought that New York will take a 2-0 lead on the Celtics in their own home? Who would have thought?
Man, crazy. Game's crazy. As we're speaking, Ant just is on the ground holding his ankle, which is not good for a Timberwolves fan, I can tell you that. Or my bets tonight.
See the thing about Ant, I think the pressure is getting to him, you know, because he didn't perform well last game. They lost.
Oh.
Miserably.
Oh, that's kind of what I'm calling about, actually, because I got an interesting take.
Okay.
It's not necessarily sports betting related, but I know you guys know hoops. So I feel like, obviously, these two scenarios have to happen. The Thunder have to advance past the Nuggets. The Wolves have to advance past the Warriors. Things look good.
Yeah.
The series should be 1-1 after tonight for the Wolves. So where I'm getting at is everybody's trying to, for the past last year, everybody's like, well, Ant's going to be the face. He's like, I don't want to be the face. And then finally, people are coming in and saying, look, like, the face you don't get to decide who's the face. It just kind of happens, right? Like Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. So there's a lot of guys that came through. Like Tracy McGrady was a phenomenal basketball player. They tried to push that on him. Like, it just wasn't, you know what I mean? It just wasn't it. So it doesn't take any away from greatness. But my thought is if they both advance, then whoever comes out of the West, that is probably going to set up who's the face for the next 5 years, or it could be a thing, right? Because if they're facing each other in the West and on the same trajectories that they're on currently, I can't think of a better situation with all these great stars coming, to the end of the road to have the game and a guy like SGA and Ant and two guys that are phenomenal basketball players, but also legitimately want to win, like aren't just about catching buckets every time they get the ball. They're not J.R. Smith every time they hit the court, right? So if you have that, you got two guys that are team guys, too, that are, like Ant's always pulling Jay McDaniels or Nas Reed or whoever he thought had the best game. I feel like we're in a good spot. I really do. And I was kind of thinking about that as I reminisce about the playoffs so far.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree. I don't think SGA will be the face. I just don't see the public liking him like that. The public likes an asshole. The public likes they like arrogance. And Ant-Man is all that. I wouldn't even say he's an asshole. I just think he's a lovable, arrogant, great athlete. And they love it. And the fact that and he's telling people that he doesn't want to be the face makes them want to make him the face even more.
100%. 100%.
And hold on, Joe. One thing I would say is that the league is just like a superhero comic, right? You got to have good, you got to have evil, So obviously it's backwards because the good that they want to make the face is actually evil, and the bad, who they don't want to make the face, is actually good. Because right now, the person who they don't want the face to be is Jason Tatum, right? And he's actually a good person, a good player,
Yeah.
He's like on the same path as like LeBron type of person, like pass first, teammate, all this. Because I mean, obviously he doesn't talk a lot of trash. He says the right things in the media, and the people hate him. They hate him, And Ant-Man does everything wrong. I mean, off the court, he's a legend. Let's get it straight. Him paying the child support up front.
Yeah.
Smartest move any man could. Smartest move any man can do.
Smartest move any man. I literally said that. I saw it when the news came out. I was right next to my girl, and I was like, "That's the greatest thing that you got the money. Like, here's your money. Let me be a dad and raise my child.
Take it.
Don't come to me for money.
Don't say nothing to me.
Great, dude.
It's over with. So Ant, I think he will become the face of the league, right? I think honestly he's gonna get traded. He's gonna leave. He's gonna leave Minnesota because the face of the league can't be in a small market. You got to be in a major market. That's why LeBron. They really didn't like LeBron being the face of the league in Cleveland because Cleveland is not a marketable place. So him going to Miami actually helped him be the anti-face of the league because now everybody's against him. That's where you got the LeBum chants from and all this flop and all this crap that they say he does and all this thing that he's not. But it's because he went to a franchise in a marketplace that exudes a market, like a face of the league. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think it's kind of cool because I think I agree 100%. You can't just say who's you can't just make somebody the face, right? Like, it's, I don't know. It's just interesting to me because I really like where it's headed. You got Wemby coming, that obviously next level talent. Seems to be a pretty decent dude. Ant, I personally like that. He's one place for my team, right? So that's, I'm obviously going to be a supporter of that, but I also like watching his game because I like a dude that can be off the court, can be, he's definitely outgoing and funny and kind of says some off the wall stuff sometimes, but realistically, the dude's a pretty good dude, but he gets on the court, flips that switch on and starts being this arrogant asshole and backs it up with his game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. Be a good dude, but treat it like a sport that it is. You know what I mean? But SGA though, man, he is if you think about just solid dude, like role model for kids. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
hey, like I wasn't the greatest when I came in, but I made myself great. And like just to sound like dude dressed good, he talks good. You know what I mean? Like he seems like a solid. Like
Right.
it just seems like we're going in a real good direction.
No, for sure. We're going in a great direction. I honestly think that once this regime of old stars gets out of the way, like Steph, LeBron, KD, it's actually going to revert back to the old school because really these kids that's coming in now, they can't shoot, you know? So
Yeah.
all these 3-point shots that we taking and stuff, they're missing them all. They can't really shoot like Steph. So all this 3-point narrative is going to go away. They're going to actually get a little bit more aggressive, I think. The 2 ball is going to be more prevalent. Like you said, Wemby is going to be a little bit more dominant. So obviously, you're going to have somebody compete with him, you know? And I think you're right. I think the league is going in a great direction. I foresee that Jason Tatum he's going to be the anti-face, you know, over in Boston because if they lose this series, Jaylen Brown is leaving.
Hey.
Jaylen Brown is he's going to leave.
Dude, I can't believe that, man. Like that series is. Whew.
They don't, but
Yeah,
they're getting punked because New York is aggressive, you know. Now Celtics are a great team. Don't get me wrong; they're a great team when they're hot, but it doesn't look like they have that fight or that dog in them because who lets a team come back 20 down every time? You got broke twice.
It doesn't happen. Like it should. None of the great players we grew up watching, and then like we have a long enough like timeline and resume on. Kobe would have never let that happen.
No.
Not back to back.
No.
It can happen every once in a while. It's the NBA, right? Like you got the best scorers in the entire world. Like it can happen, right? Like somebody gets hot, a couple guys get hot, but
Not
somebody's
in the
in. Like I mean, Mike wouldn't let that happen. No one.
Not even
And
LeBron.
so many other guys.
Bro, like
LeBron wouldn't.
nobody lets this happen. But the problem is that they got a 2-headed monster, and the 2-headed monster, they're not on the same page right now. If you look at everything, Jaylen Brown cut his hair for a reason because he's about to turn marketable, right? He doesn't get along with Boston at all. Nothing that they stand for, nothing that they hold dear, nothing. So he's like a Kyrie at this moment. He's actually going against the grain because of what he stands for and what he sees in life. So what I'm telling you, if they lose this game, if they lose this series, he's going to get traded and be like a James Harden and go to, I don't know, I'm not going to say he's going to go to Houston, but he's going to go somewhere needed and be that franchise player.
You know, it'd be nuts. I just randomly popped in my head with you saying. I never really thought about it like that, but you're right. You are right, and it is kind of just their games just don't. It's not that their skill sets don't work together. They just like they're so good. Both of those guys are fantastic, but that Batman Robin for them isn't really it. And sometimes like Tatum, first of all, Tatum driving like that, like you got to put that ball, like you got to go to the hole, man. Like if you're gonna speed it up that quick with 13 seconds left, this pass out, like I don't know. I wasn't super happy with his decision, but I also am not an NBA player. I'm not in that moment, so it's easy for me to say. But like, you know what I mean, like the armchair quarterback or whatever. But what popped in my head was, think about what Atlanta's doing with their current roster.
Yeah.
What about Jalen with Trey? You got Dyson Daniels, the monster on defense. Like, man, that'd be an interesting thing because that's where I think Tatum's game to me is way more like all around, and it's got a little bit more finesse to it. But Jaylen Brown to me is kind of more got that like dog mentality, more like a Jimmy Butler at like deal where it's like you got some other people that are willing to like smack the court and like just lock it on D. I feel like he could be that guy.
No, for sure. I just think that he needs to, if he gets the reins of an organization, right? If he gets that confidence behind him, the handles will get better. The jump shot will be more efficient. He'll be more aggressive. He will have the confidence that he doesn't need to. If he messes up, it's okay. Like right now, like I said, it's a two-headed dragon. It's Superman and Batman. If you see, the movies with Superman and Batman, what's it called?
What is it, Batman versus?
No. What are they on? The Super Friends or the Justice League?
Like Marvel
the Justice League,
or Justice.
right? The history of Superman and Batman, they're not friends. Batman is always trying to figure out how to disable Superman because he understands that Superman can lose it at any moment and everybody will die. You know? So
yeah,
at the end of the day, they're not really friends. They work together, but they're not friends. And that's how Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are at this moment. They're not friends. They working together. They won a championship. And in that championship, Jaylen Brown got the glory, which technically should never have happened because Tatum actually had a better series, but at the point in times where they needed him the most, he didn't deliver, and Jaylen Brown did. So that's where he got tipped the nod for, you know what I mean? So
yeah, 100%.
So it's coming to an end. This might be their last year together, even though he did just get that contract, but contracts can be voided. You know what I mean? Like trades happen, people get traded. It happens all the time. So I believe that if they don't win against New York, if they get swept, oh my gosh, he's out of there.
Yeah, they're not. There's no way.
Aren't they going to New York for 2 games?
Man, one, MSG's rocking. You're coming in back home with not just the 2 wins in Boston is massive, but 3 road wins. They won that last one in Detroit. They haven't even been home to celebrate that one, man.
I'm trying to tell you.
Man, that's going to be wild. So what I'm looking up for a betting thing, I'm interested to see what your thoughts are here.
Okay.
Because it's a series bet. Speaking of that series, that I kind of was looking at today, because I don't think New York's getting the respect they deserve. And I get it. Like, I do get it, right? Boston is Boston. Like we were just talking about. They're a fantastic team.
Right.
They're firing on all cylinders, right? But something ain't firing right now.
Right,
so,
right.
But we look at this on the East right now. So you can literally take the New York Knicks. This is a wild thing. This is just to prove how wild the playoffs have been, the second round especially. The New York Knicks are still underdogs to the Boston Celtics in this series.
I know.
Right now, you put Boston's -112 to win the series. They got 2 games to MSG. It's really hard for me to get Boston's that much better than New York. Because people forget, like, yes, New York was the Bulls during the season. They couldn't beat a good team on the road. They just beat 2 good teams 3 nights in a row.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I get it. And they've got a different, this is not the same Knicks from last year. Obviously, Pat, we know that, but even the role players, man.
Right.
Like, that team's good.
They're very
Caleb
good.
Brunson's a dog. And, like, he's so clutch.
And honestly, I think a lot of teams are going to take this philosophy that New York did. They took 3 of the players from the same college and put them on one team. Right? If you're able to get players who know each other for years and put them on the same team, they're going to gel a lot quicker. They're going to trust each other a lot more. You're going to win games. Like these 2 games showed that they trust each other. If they had Dante DiVincenzo from Washington, the Wolves, if they had him on the team still, it'll be even more.
100%. Yeah, I do think that was. I'm happy to have him on the Wolves, that's for sure. But I think that was a dumb move on the Knicks' part. But I think you're right, man. And I think there's a lot to unpack there. One, you look at the game last night when they traded for Anunoby, they traded for Bridges, and they gave up the farm and draft picks to get Bridges in there. But they got him for that reason. Exactly what happened last night. Collapsed on Tatum, forced him to make a decision. That's crazy. And then the night before, what happened? Bridges ties the ball up with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Turnover. But
stripped him.
That's huge. And I think they're onto something with getting players from the same college, but I think even deeper than that, it's not just getting, like, back in the day, if you were to draft 3 Kentucky one and dones, right?
Yeah.
That's very different than getting those guys that all came out of nowhere. Like, or you draft a squad, a few guys from UConn. I think we are coming from a coaching, like a real actual X's and O's coach from college to the NBA, and then in this scenario they got Thibodeau, right? Like they didn't. Gosh, who's the dude that coached? I think he coached the Knicks a little bit too, but he coached Amari and Nash in Phoenix.
You talking about D'Antoni?
Dude, yeah, D'Antoni. Like they're not playing for D'Antoni, right? Like they're actually playing some defense. Like they got to play defense. D'Antoni, remember, is like best offense, horrible defense.
Facts. But no,
yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's interesting. I think right now it'd be hard for me, and I probably will place it tonight. But I think you bet $100, and you have to bet $112 on the Celtics to win $100 to win the series. You got to bet $104 to win $100 if you go Knicks. And I think it's really hard not to take the Knicks there.
I mean, you'll be dumb if you didn't. I would say this though. I don't think that the Knicks are going to sweep the Boston Celtics. I doubt it. I would say Boston's going to get Game 3. It's usually how it goes, right? But I believe the Knicks will win because they have 3 games at home, right?
Yep.
So they're going to give up one just to rest, and then they're going to take.
Well, no, wait. They've got 2-2-1-1-1, right?
Yeah. 2-2-1-1-1, right? So they might give up one Game 3, just because. It's going to be hard because didn't Boston win last year? Aren't they the champs?
Yeah. Boston won. I think you're onto something. I think the Knicks may win Game 1 because I think Boston going to MSG with that atmosphere, the way it's going to be. I think it's going to be. I think that's the best chance. I agree with you though. I think Boston takes one MSG, but I don't think they take both.
No. They're not going to take both. There's no possible way. They already got their spirit broke. You're up 20 and you lose twice, and then you brought out the point about Jason Tatum that last possession he had. He thought too hard. He had the best situation he could possibly have. He had a big on him, shuffling his feet, and he still chose to drive. He had an opportunity to do his clutch step back that he usually shoots all the time. It's a 40-60 chance that he will make it. It's never 50-50 with this guy. It's a 40-60 chance that he would make it. I don't believe he had confidence in himself to make the shot because he always misses it. So that's why he drove and tried to kick it out. But when he drove into 4 people. Yep. He should have took the open shot.
I think you're right, man. I think you're spot on because I was thinking the same thing. I heard something this morning that I thought was it might have been Perk that said it. It was on Get Up, but they were talking about the difference between Halliburton taking the last shot so far in the playoffs and Tatum. Halliburton came down the floor. He knew he was going to take that step back. He had it made up in his mind is I'm making this, and I'm cool with missing, but I like he had his move. He took his time, got the spacing he wanted, and then he got his shot. That's a very big difference to me right now between guys that's leading his team and saying I'm it. You know what I mean?
Well, I would also say that there's no pressure on Halliburton right now. Nobody expects him to do what he's doing, so he's playing free. He missed he missed the free throw, or somebody missed the free throw. Luckily, he got the rebound, took it out, and hit him with a step back, which you would think you could block his shot. He puts the ball right in your face every time. But for some reason, somehow, he gets it off every time, and you can't block it, and it goes in. I think, to be honest with you, Tyrese Halliburton is first-team All-Offense, first-team All-NBA, first-team All-Defense NBA, because he's out there locking shit up. Even though Donovan Mitchell is going for 45, it's a hard 45. It ain't easy. Huh?
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter how good you are, like, on defense, like, players like that are
they're going to get
good on offense that, they're going to get it. And it made, like you said, 45, that's a hard 45. But his 20, you know what I mean? Guys that are putting up 25 every night, whatever. Like, I also think that's a big game plan aspect, too. It's like, cool, this guy's not going to beat us. Everybody else is, right? Like, we'll take out 25. We're down 25-0 right now before the game starts. How do we overcome? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you can do that in the NBA. Very different than a college game, obviously, but because these guys are so damn good, man.
No,
They're
for
so
sure.
good. Like, I think sometimes we lose sight of, like, the last dude on the bench on every team would work almost everyone they run into in real life that doesn't, you know what I mean, put on a professional jersey. Like, it's wild to think about, like, how good the last dude is and never see that.
I mean, you're right, because you could look at the Warriors. I can't think of his name, but the white dude with the beard, he gets in with Steph.
Pat Spencer.
Listen,
Yeah.
getting buckets. And he's not even a starter. He's not even getting ticked like that, you know? Spencer's
That
out
dude
here.
looks like he plays at the YMCA, for
Bro.
real. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Swear to God. Swear to God.
yeah, dude.
His first love was rugby. You heard about that? Like, he was playing rugby first and then transferred to a basketball school and gets drafted or you know, just gets to the league. He's a hooper. He's an athlete, you know? But that just lets you know that there's different levels to this game. And the last guy, like you mentioned, on the bench will bust anybody's ass. And everybody that's in my comments, they gonna bust your ass too, because these players is real. They real. Now, Joe, I got a question for you. I got a scenario.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are talking about how I made a comment about jumping teams. You know, if you lose, you go to another team that's gonna win, right? But let's say, for instance, you swap Steph Curry and Kevin Durant at this particular time, the time when they was hot, right? When KD went to the Warriors, okay? If you took put KD on the Warriors and you took Steph off the Warriors and put him on OKC, do you think Steph will still have the same career?
Steve Kerr still the coach, or does Steve Kerr follow Curry? Because I think that's a big deal.
Steve Kerr
Like,
stays with Warriors.
I don't think so, man. I really don't. Like, I think that there's something. I think that I'm not saying Steve Kerr's the greatest coach by any. I'm not saying he's a bad coach either. Like, I'm not a smart enough basketball mind to either give Steve Kerr the proper amount of flowers or not, right? Like, I think he's fantastic and he's a really good coach. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if he's a Phil Jackson. Like, I don't know, right? But I think that there's something special that what he did, one, when Curry came in the league, said, take that shit. Like, take these shots, man. Because if you think about it, man, some of these shots that he was hitting when he first came in, like, most of those kids now are getting benched. Like, you know, it's like, bro, no, we're not shooting from there. Like, you know what I mean? Pass the ball around, do this. You're a point guard. Like, move the ball.
He's 6'2",
I
though.
don't think so. I think it's a team. I think. Do what?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Durant legitimately is probably the greatest scorer that's ever played. So I think Durant, if you get Durant in his prime, that team for a long period, like, and let's just
They're
say
winning.
that
They're winning.
they're winning because Durant is that good. Like, and Durant is also seems to be a team guy. To an extent, I think sometimes, like, I'm not saying it's all Kyrie's fault because I have to replace some of that too. I don't think Durant gets enough blame. Like, he gets the shade for dumping teams and stuff, but like, bro, like, you had this setup in OKC. Like, you had this setup. Like, let's run that back. Harden, Westbrook.
But on paper, yes. But in real life, no. They were. I don't think they were ever going to win. But,
you don't think? Okay, let's change the scenario just for a second. Steve Kerr moved to get those guys at the same time, right? Coming into the league, young. You get a coach that actually looks at the game a little bit differently than just like, you know, I don't know. Because they all have the talent. Harden would definitely became, I mean, you think when maybe they were all three alphas and it wasn't going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very likely.
You got to have somebody that's going to pass the ball. Like Draymond, even though I don't like his game, he's the only reason I believe that Steph Curry is as good as he is. Because you got to understand, Draymond is very smart, right? IQ is very high, but he's a willing passer. Nobody
Yeah,
on OKC
yeah.
was going to be a willing passer like that if Steph was on the team, right? Westbrook was going to go get his. He's aggressive. He's going to get his. Harding was going to get his. Who's going to pass Steph the ball? Ibaka? Nah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen. Steph would have had to.
No, I'm not. Steph Kerr goes to that team. I'm saying if Steve Kerr is the coach from the beginning with OKC,
Nah.
I feel like the scenario is different with those three players because you also had Steven Adams, man. Like, which is, do you think about that, man? Like, obviously you can't tell it in the during the time hindsight's 2020, but damn, dude, you had Steven Adams, a legit center.
Yeah.
Right? May not primary scorer. You think about after the fact, Westbrook averaged first time triple double ever been.
But not
you know
with
what I mean?
them, though. He didn't do a triple double with them. He did it by himself.
No, I know he did. Harden, when Harden played for OKC, he was a scorer. That was it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was a six-man scorer. He bounces around later in his career, and he becomes a passer, right? Like, dude is a legit good point guard. He can't play defense to save his life, but beyond that, right? Like, he's a decent offensive point guard for sure.
Not for sure.
It's just interesting to see the mindset of those dudes coming into a league, and I can't remember who the coach was at the time, but with less of a mentality of like, I'm going to go get mine, and how do we win like championships? It's just wild to me how much coaching might play a role in the early years for sure in the NBA.
Nah, for sure. Like, I agree. Coaching is very important, and schemes are very important, but players are the most important thing because the pieces of the team has to fit. The only reason why Steph was successful for the Warriors is because, for one, Clay was playing defense, and he was knocking down shots. Steph was not playing defense like that back then. Draymond was playing defense and rebounding and passing it to Steph and setting screens. Then he had another big who was doing this thing. You know, I think, what was his name? Bogut, right?
Bogut. Yeah.
Then he had Childress or Childs. What's his name?
Dude that was on the cup NCAA. Remember that?
Bro.
With the game. No, it was a pro, right?
Man, he had a squad that fit his game. You know what I'm saying? They had a team. You know, and everybody knew their role. Iguodala knew their role. Dang, I can't think of his name. What's it? Childress, the point guard. It was
dude. They also had Monte Ellis. Before they started winning championships.
Monte wasn't there. He left. But
there's before they won championships. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that if you were to swap teams with these two players, Durant would still be Durant. Steph would not be Steph.
Steph would probably be Trae Young. You know what I mean?
He'll be a Trae Young.
Trae Young's good, but Trae Young's not Steph Curry. Like, not everything that goes with it.
He don't have the pieces around him. You know? That's just what it is. You have to have pieces around you. And that's why a lot of players in the NBA leave to go to other teams, because it's about the pieces that fit around you, that fit around your game. If you're the solo hero on your team and you're doing everything, you're not going to win. It just doesn't happen. You have to have the right pieces around you that's going to put you in position so you can win, because Durant, he was the best when he was with the Warriors. When he left the Warriors, he had to do a lot more. And when he had to do a lot more, he was not successful. You know? Little is always more, especially when you're great. Little is always more, because all the other pieces are doing the other things that you're not going to do. You know, now you can focus on what you need to focus on to be great.
Agreed, man. I think that's the biggest thing between, like we look at LeBron and Durant, their comparison, but when we think about their careers, just of like when you really sit down and watch the basketball game, you think about, like, to me, Durant is probably, like I said, the greatest scorer in his prime.
Yeah.
The best, walking bucket for days, right?
Yeah.
And he can't play defense. Like, when he's on it, it was over, right? And he's still really good. I'm not taking anything away. But the difference is like, he wasn't running down fast breaks and blocking, like, you know what I mean? Blocking shots, doing the little stuff like you're talking about, like LeBron did his entire career. And I'm not even a guy that says LeBron's the greatest player of all time, right? Like, that's another argument in itself. I think he's top 2 for sure, top 3. But if you start thinking about really, like, take away the fact, like, the athleticism of, like, you're naturally just a great basketball player, but the little stuff really differentiates their careers, man. Like,
for sure. It's the small
LeBron
things.
Yeah. And you even look now, like, what superstar, like Kobe, I love Kobe, and, like, Kobe's one of my favorite athletes, if not my favorite athlete of all time, but Kobe wasn't playing second fiddle. Kobe wasn't letting Luka come in and run the show and say, cool, I'll take a back seat, but I'll run this game. Like, I'm still the quarterback of this team here.
No, for sure.
You know, like, LeBron, I'll tell you what, man, LeBron, I've never been a LeBron hater either, but LeBron throughout the years has grown on me even more just to see that, you know what I mean, that growth, because we did get to see him coming out of high school, like playing in high school, you know what I mean, he was a public figure.
The
when
man
he was
is
a kid.
LeBron is the most phenomenal basketball player of all time because of how long he did it. And I know they say longevity doesn't matter, but let's be honest. Everybody wants to play until they don't want to play no more. You know, everybody wants to play until they want to stop on their own. If you're stopped by injury or if you're stopped by other outside circumstances, you regret it. You're upset because you didn't get to finish what you started. So the whole point of playing basketball and being great is to play as long as you can for as high as level you can until you can't no more. And everybody wants to go against LeBron talking about longevity shouldn't count and all. Of course it counts. If you go to a job and you work there for 60 years, they give you an award. They tell you you're great. They say you've been here the longest. You got a longevity award. You know what I'm saying? Like, they give you stocks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody praises longevity in every world. And you want to get to the NBA and one person who's done it since they were 18 and he's been doing it now since he's 40, and you want to take away the longevity? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make no sense.
You know what I
at
think?
all.
I agree with you 100% because I think longevity is not everything, but man, it's enough to separate you from other players. And I'll give you the example. So LeBron still to this day at 40 years old is a complete player, meaning Duke can still play. Duke can play off. Like, he literally is still a top 10 player in the league, top 20 for sure, which is better than most people that put on the uniform in their career. Right? Like, top 20 for, we'll just say for the sake of argument, top 20 player today at 40. That's insane, man. And he's been that the entire time. So what's crazy is when I think about other people in that argument, and like I said, Kobe's my favorite NBA player for sure of all time. And so, but Kobe walks out with 60, right?
Right.
Kobe, he's been shooting his entire life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Kobe's going to get his on offense at whatever age, right? But
Right.
Kobe was not the complete player he was like LeBron is right now.
No.
Vince Carter played a long, long time, man, and he is one of the greatest to play, in my opinion. I mean, he was phenomenal. Like, he was a great player of our generation, we'll say. But he wasn't doing what LeBron's doing.
No.
MJ didn't go to the Wizards and start doing what LeBron's doing right now. Longevity is different, man, because he's playing against young kids that are faster, quicker, stronger. Like, you think about the way people use this comparison with Tiger, and I think it can translate a little bit to LeBron and what he's done for the NBA. Is these dudes are cut, man.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley ain't making it in this league in the shape that he was in.
No.
He transformed him in his time. He's going to be good, but he's not going to be Charles Barkley. Like, not what he was back then for the Suns, man. LeBron came in, really showed people, like, hey, like, you can be I'm trying to think of who the dude was that, like Glenn Baby Davis. Glenn Baby Davis ain't looking people around in this NBA.
No.
Like, it's just not happening.
Not at all. It's a
So
job.
Tiger, it's a job, man. And Tiger, they talk about Tiger as, like, would Tiger be as good today as he was when he first came in? The answer is no, because Tiger literally reinvented the game of golf by coming in working out and just out driving everybody, doing everything because he was an athlete playing a fat white man sport. You know what I mean? Like, it was a very different game. And LeBron, not as much as Tiger, what Tiger did for golf, but you can correlate some of that together because these dudes now, Jokic is probably the only dude that I can think of that's like, bro, you should probably, well, Luka maybe a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this NBA is different. I'm watching the game right now. Everybody's cut up. Like, it's just a different game.
It's a different game. Athletes are different now. The thing about it, I would say, is that Jordan exposed the world to a real athlete, like a hyper athlete, you know? And once people were exposed to seeing a hyper athletic person that can really play ball, the genetics started to go. Kids started to really believe that they can do that. And once you can believe something, you really achieve it 100%. And it's not our fault that LeBron and Kobe was watching Jordan and they saw what he did and they was like, you know what, we can do that same thing. The whole goal is to be better than your mentor. You can't not be better than your mentor if you don't practice. And these boys took it serious. I tell you one thing, if Vince Carter would have went to a different franchise than Toronto, he would have been the next Michael Jordan. If he would have went to like LA, if you'd have went to Chicago, if you'd have went to New York, if you'd have went to a place that had pride in basketball, a place that really wanted to succeed, it wanted to showcase the greatest player of all time, he would have been that person because he is the exact carbon copy of Michael Jordan. You couldn't stop Vince Carter. You can't jump higher than him. You can't block his shot. He's faster than you. He can shoot. Everything that Michael Jordan did, Vince Carter could do. Came from the same school. You know what I mean? Like, he had the same trajectory as Michael Jordan. The only problem was he went to Toronto, you know? Nobody cared about Toronto.
I agree, but I think the number one thing that sets them apart, and correct me if I'm wrong, Vince is one of I love Vince Carter, man. Dude, there's not a lot of people growing up that I think was more fun to watch than Vince Carter. Just because the dude could jump up, like you said. I mean, he had everything. Like, he had the whole bag. And so, but the mentality is very different in my eyes.
I knew you was going to say that, Joe. I knew you was going to say that.
Yeah.
And the reason why,
very different.
I would say this, Joe. I would say the mentality, you're right. He didn't have the mentality because he didn't get the pressure on him from going to a franchise that was a winner. He went to a franchise that was a loser. Once you go to a losing team like the Browns, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to win. Like, the only person who overcome a losing franchise was LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, like, nobody else. You could say Jordan did too with the Bulls back in the day, but that the league was in the beginning stages. So their franchises were actually new back then. So it didn't really matter. A franchise that loses year after year, 10 years after 10 years after 10 years, that's a mentality that is not going to change. You need somebody at a great stature to be able to change that. That's what I'm saying. If Vince Carter would have went to a team who had a statue of being great, a status of being great, he would have fulfilled the destiny already. If he would have went to Boston, he would have been great. If he would have went to LA, he would have been great. If he would have, because he was great in Toronto, you know? He was great. He was crazy in Toronto. Just imagine if he went to a better franchise that had pride. The man would have been unstoppable. And I think the league does things like this. I think the league sees talent that can rival Michael Jordan and put them in places where they can't succeed. They just so happened to put LeBron in Cleveland, and he succeeded. They put Vince in Toronto. His career wasn't the best.
He didn't achieve in Cleveland his first go-around. He had to go win a championship, go under Pat Riley, and then come back after the Cavs had the number one draft pick and got Kyrie. So I agree with everything you're saying entirely, but LeBron didn't come into the league and he made a bad team good, no doubt, but he didn't win it.
He didn't win it, you're right.
He didn't get his first one with him.
I would say this, though. I would say the only reason why the Cavs won the championship is two reasons. It's one, because LeBron left. Because if without him leaving, they would never got Kyrie, and he needed Kyrie. Two, he came back.
Found him when he first came in were I mean, again, no disrespect, but they were scrubs in comparison to the rosters built around other players at that time. Like, for sure. Like, they don't, to back your point, man, they don't, if the Cavs don't get the number one pick, if they don't give him a Kyrie, right? Like, people forget how good Kyrie was when he first came in. He played, what, 5 games at Duke before he got hurt?
Yeah,
Like,
unstoppable.
Kyrie was
Crazy.
filthy from the jump.
Crazy. But, I mean, you got to think about it. All this happened because LeBron made a decision. And to be honest with you, it's not even his fault. The Cavs didn't even want to say, they didn't want to keep him. They told him to leave. They didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to bring nobody here. The GM, it's the GM's fault that LeBron went to Miami. Because if you would have brought players to the Cavs like you were supposed to do, LeBron would have stayed. He never wanted to leave. But again, the universe works in mysterious ways. He goes to Miami. He does what he does, becomes a great. Kyrie gets drafted to the Cavs. He says, okay, finally I have a comparable player that I can play with. I'm going to go back. I'm going to win because Kyrie was not going to win no championship with the Cavs. You know what I'm saying? He's proven that he's not going to win a championship without a great player next to him. You know? So LeBron went there, tried to help the kid, got him a championship, tried to show him the ropes. He wasn't listening at the time. We all know the story. He leaves again, and the rest is history. But without him leaving Cleveland the first time, Kyrie would not be in Cavs, and the Cavs would not have got a championship. So everything had to line up correctly for this to happen. And they crucified LeBron like he did something wrong.
Yeah, man. I think I think we're spoiled too with the previous 1 and 2 with, you know what I mean, being Mike and then Kobe coming and winning all those with the Lakers and not leaving. Mike left to go play baseball for a second, right? But then came back, won 3 back-to-back, and then retired again, and then goes to the Wizards, whatever. But, like, that's not even the same thing. Like, Mike was, you know, that's different. But then you got LeBron, who didn't stay with the Cavs the whole time, I think is why people look at it like that. Because we were blessed to see 2 guys stick with their teams and just get it done. You know what I mean? People get
Joe,
like,
Joe who made the rules up that you had to stick with your same team? Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like,
nobody did.
All of us is getting mad at people for leaving, or they say that you should stay loyal. Who said we supposed to stay loyal to these stupid franchises? You know, if they not fucking with me, I'ma leave. So that's the whole point. That's why LeBron left. If Jordan quit, right? Let's get past this retirement shit. It's not a retirement because he was still in his prime. You can't retire in your prime. That's stupid. And who retires and comes back? Nobody leaves a job and comes back and say I retired. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? So all this retirement stuff is for the birds. The man quit. He quit 3 times, which is cool. You can do that. But at the same time, the NBA was different. Players couldn't trade themselves and go to different franchises to build a team to win because the goal is to win, right?
Yep.
So if your goal is to win and I want to play with players who's going to win, wouldn't I want to go to a team that I feel that's going to win? That's why everybody nowadays, they go to different teams because they're trying to fit pieces together to win. That's the goal. That's why Kevin Durant went to the Warriors. That's why LeBron attracts a lot of players to him to win because they understand that their best chances of winning is with LeBron. If Jordan could attract players to play with him, he could have, he would have. They just couldn't do it because the contracts wouldn't allow him to back then. But now everything is different. It's a different new age in basketball, right?
Facts, man. Facts. It's entirely different. I just think about like the idea if we humanize the athletes that we watch, right? Because sometimes we focus on the game. You know, I know you look at it a lot differently, but I'm just saying, like the common fan looks at it and only takes into account the 2.5 hours that are played each night. The other stuff that goes in, they're normal human beings, right? Like they got lives, they got kids, they got wives, they got, you know what I mean? All these moving parts, like they're doing so much. Plus these workout routines, like sometimes we as fans, you know, we go to a 9 to 5 or whatever, and it's like, I can't wait for this work to be over. So they're putting way more work in than anybody that's working a 9 to 5. As far as like hours wise, time wise, dedicated to your job. And so you post this question and go, hey, would you rather spend your winters when the NBA is being played in Cleveland, meaning would you rather wake up every morning in Cleveland, snow, cold? Well, you're from Ohio, bro. You already know. Or would you rather wake up every morning to a nice 78 to 85 degrees in December on Miami Southeast? Like, exactly. I'm just saying as a human, not the sport. Everybody's going to say Miami, man.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I think we forget to humanize the fact that these are legitimate, like, real people. You know what I mean? People idolize them so much that they lose sight of that. Like,
yeah,
these are fathers playing a game. You know what I mean?
You're absolutely right, Joe. You're absolutely right. But listen, Joe, we done got to the time of the end of the podcast today. I appreciate you giving us a call in. Joe knows. Hey, what bets should people be looking at before we get off? Give the people some bets that they should get.
While we were talking, I kind of put together that I'm going to place myself because I like both of them. Sometimes, like, especially in sports betting, you will realize, like, I'm going to make this bet, and I'm okay if it loses because the logic behind it makes sense, right? Like, so the bet I'm going to say is Indiana Pacers are up 2-0 right now. Uh-huh. They're going home. Cleveland's struggling to stay healthy right now. Donovan Mitchell's a monster, but we've seen how that series is going so far. Pacers, people have been sleeping on them. They got a squad. So I'm going to parlay the Pacers to win their series and the New York Knicks to win their series. You put those two together, and you get plus 197 odds. You're getting 2-1,
okay.
Right? You put $100 down, you're getting 197 back plus your 100. I think that's a smart bet right now. You got two teams that are up 2-0 and both going home.
So we're betting on the Pacers.
Pacers to beat the Cavs in their series, and the New York Knicks to beat the Celtics in their series. I think if you lose that bet, you can still sleep good at night. It's only wager what you're willing to lose, but I think it's a smart bet right now because people are sleeping on the Knicks, and it's going to be hard for
sure.
Boston to come back still going to MSG. Same thing with Indiana. I mean, literally, Indiana, the entire state of Indiana is behind the Pacers right now.
100%.
That place is going to be on fire.
It's going to be rocking. It's going to be rocking.
And they got the dudes, too. It's not just Halliburton. Siakam's no bum. Miles Turner's no bum. You got Ben Mathurin. Ben Mathurin, people sleep on that dude. That dude coming off the bench is dirty.
Yeah.
That dude is good.
Yeah, he's a sleeper. He might be a franchise player coming up in the next year or two. For sure.
I think he's got the potential to be a really, really good player, man.
Yeah.
I think they got a lot of guys. Got what's white dude's name that comes off the bench? Dude's a walking bucket against the other bench players. What's that dude's name? TJ McConnell, right? TJ McConnell, I think that's his name. Dude's good. I think they got a squad, and I think that the Cavs, if they came into the series healthy, I think they probably beat the Pacers in 6, but definitely 7. But
For
right
sure.
now, man, it's gonna be tough. So, yeah, I think I placed that bet 2-1 odds.
All right. Well, hey, you hear it first with Joe Knows Bets. Joe, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's been a pleasure with you. Call in anytime, my boy. I appreciate you calling in.
I appreciate you, bro.
All right,
Later.
Joe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode here of That's All I'm Saying. I am your boy, Max Dollars, your neighborhood hoop hero, baby. And we're going to go out with the Honey Man, and then we'll see y'all next week.
You know you want me, baby. You know I want you too. Cause I'm your honey man. I'm really sweet on you. Take one taste of me, girl.